like to have a very beautiful and sweet and positive personality? Next suggestion on Shanti Vandana says, friends, you must show consideration. You see, nobody cares how much you know unless they appreciate how much you care. The story is told that a 10-year-old boy went to an ice cream shop and he sat at a table and he asked the waitress, how much is an ice cream cone? And she said, child, it is 75 cents. And the boy started counting the coins he had in his hand. And then he asked, ma'am, how much is a small cup of ice cream? And the waitress impatiently replied, oh, son, it is 65 cents. And the boy said, ma'am, I will have a small ice cream cup instead. And the boy ate his ice cream, he paid the bill, and he left. And when the waitress came to pick up the empty plate, she was touched, friends. Underneath that empty plate were 10 1-cent coins left as a tip. The young boy, the young child had consideration for the waitress even before he ordered his ice cream. He showed sensitivity. He showed that he was caring. He thought of others before himself. Children of Shanti Vandana, we are all like that little boy. You would have a great place to live. Show consideration, show courtesy, show politeness. Do you want an opportunity? If you're driving on the nation's roadways today, you understand what is required when we speak about politeness, when we speak about consideration, when we speak about courtesy. You're listening to the program Shanti Vandana on The First, The Finest. The next suggestion about ensuring that we have a positive personality, it is to think win-win. You see, in the business world, everybody thinks that the concept of win-win really applies squarely for those who are in business. But dear friends, today I'm reminding you that your life, your presence, your contribution, the things that you do and the impact that you have on other people's life, it should not just be win for yourself, but you want to have a positive and sweet personality, you must think win-win. You see, this morning I'm in a very storytelling mode. And the story goes where a man died, and this is just a kahani this morning, please understand, that a man died and the person, the gatekeeper, asked him if he would like to go to heaven or to hell. And the man asked if he would like to see both. He wants to see both heaven and hell before he would decide to go to heaven or to go to hell. So the gatekeeper took him, you guessed it right, to hell first. And there the man saw a big hall containing a long table laden with many kinds of food. And he also saw rows of people with pale and sad faces. They looked starved and there was no laughter. And he observed one more thing, that their hands were tied to 4-foot forks and 4-foot knives. And they were trying to get the food from the center of the table to put it in their mouths. But their friends, they couldn't. And then the gatekeeper took him, obviously, to the next place. He took him to heaven. And there he saw a big hall with a long table with lots of food. And he noticed rows of people on both sides of the table with their hands tied again to 4-foot forks and to 4-foot knives as well. But here people were laughing and were well-fed and healthy looking. The people were feeding one another across the table. The result was happiness. The result was prosperity, enjoyment, and gratification. Dear friends, because they were not thinking of themselves alone. They were thinking win-win. You see, the same is true for our lives. Dear listeners of 103 FM, when we serve our customers, our families, our employers and employees, we automatically win. You see, those who were in heaven and in hell, they were subjected to the same environment. A table laden with food, with all that is required. Their hands were tied and strapped to 4-foot length forks and knives. But those who lived in hell, they were so focused on themselves that they were trying to feed only themselves, and therefore they were unhappy. But those who lived in heaven, they understood the same environment, the same circumstances, but they lived a win-win life. They were happy. Why? Because instead of feeding themselves, they each fed each other. This is Shanti Vandana, the first, the finest, 103 FM. I am your host, Pandit Krishen Ramdeen, and this first half-hour segment